Hello out there to my small but wonderful community of people who listen to me on a semi regular basis ramble on about usually Gotham Knights. And if you are looking for one of my clip heavy videos, this one is probably going to disappoint you. Actually, I know this one's going to disappoint you. All I'm doing in this video is a brief out of theater review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I will get a more in depth, clip ridden, joke ridden video out at some point, hopefully in the near future, maybe next week, but no promises on the timeline. So here we go. Spoiler-free review, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Right off the bat, I'm just going to say it's not a bad movie. It's not a great movie either, but it's not a bad movie. It's okay. It's decent. It suffers from being very long, and it misses a lot of beats. It could have been trimmed down, I think probably about a half an hour, and you would have had the same exact movie. You just tighten up some of the beats throughout, and it's going to improve your pacing. And that is a big part of why I can't say that this movie was great. In addition to that, the music. I like the style that James Gunn decided to take with his Guardians movies, and it seems like all of his movies, honestly, but it's just too much. I mean, honestly, the movie begins with them playing Radiohead's Creep in its entirety. It almost plays out like a music video, and it's very bizarre, but it's the beginning of the film. So, okay, this is what we've decided to do right off the bat. It feels weird, but this is what we're doing. It comes to an end, and I think, okay, we're moving on. We're going to get into this thing, and this soundtrack is going to settle down. And it immediately goes into another song. Luckily, this one is cut very, very short. But throughout the film, it's distracting. They play full lengths of these songs. And the soundtrack is awesome. Don't get me wrong. But there's a time and a place. And there's a limit to how much somebody can take before it becomes too distracting. Also distracting is a lot of the humor. It's very Guardians. You expect that you're going to have this kind of humor. It's really where current Marvel humor originated, was with the first Guardians of the Galaxy film. So you have to expect that going in. But it just doesn't land like it typically does in the Guardians films. A lot of it does. Drax, I appreciate they pulled back on him being so overtly stupid. I mean, he's still dumb. And it still drives me crazy that Drax the Destroyer, whose sole purpose is to kill Thanos, he's just an idiot. In the first film, he was just literal, and the stupid was kind of like swirling around him, but he wasn't the joke itself. He was a part of the joke, and the joke was happening around him because he was literal. But as it progressed, he became the joke. It was just, oh, Drax is stupid. Look, he said something stupid. Oh, he's laughing hysterically at something inappropriate. Whatever the case may be. That drives me crazy. But they did rein it back just a little bit in this one, which I appreciated because I was able to enjoy Drax a little bit more. It's still not perfect. It still drives me crazy. It's still one of the weaker points when it comes to the characters in the film, which is a shame because he does a good job with what they give him. It's just not what I expect from Drax the Destroyer. And the same really goes for Mantis as well. Since we're discussing characters that are a little out of sorts, I do have to touch on Gamora. I'm split on Gamora. I feel like Two-Face. Part of me wants to say I really enjoyed what they did with her character. They made her more serious. They made her the deadliest woman in the galaxy. Um, but they also make her do some just absolutely stupid things. She makes just some of the worst decisions in the entire film, which is way out of sorts from the Gamora that we meet in the first Guardians, which this Gamora isn't that far behind. So it is a little perplexing. Now, those are really my biggest gripes. Um, I guess I could get more in depth and nitpicky, but I think that's really the biggest kind of stuff is the humor, a couple of the characters and their how they're portrayed, as opposed to how I think they should be portrayed because of how they are in the comics. I know that's a tired old argument, but it's one that I will always make because these are comic book films. Like, you don't have to drastically change a character because it doesn't fit your narrative. Like, Drax doesn't have to be an idiot. He can be a serious character. He can still be funny and be a serious character. Same with Gamora. Same with Mantis. But yeah, that and the pacing and the music. Those are my biggest gripes. And I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but it really does drag down what otherwise would have been a fantastic film, I think. The emotional stuff that's in this film, which everybody knew was coming, I think it's going to subvert some expectations. You know, you have all these theories flying around of this person dies, this person does this, whatever the case may be. I'm not saying any of that does or does not happen. I'm just saying that there are some things that you won't expect, possibly in addition to the things that you do expect. But the emotional beats, they nail down, they cut it open, and they expose it to the world. They did a great job with that. I thought it was awesome. Backtracking now to the characters, the actors themselves, all the actors did a fantastic job with the characters they were portraying. I might not agree with all of the choices for those characters, but they all did a fantastic job. I can't really think of any weak spots. And the High Evolutionary, the guy that plays the High Evolutionary, I apologize. I'm not even going to try pronouncing your name because I would just butcher it. So I'm just going to apologize instead. He is awesome. I don't necessarily like their portrayal of the High Evolutionary, but he does a fantastic job. He is a villain. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Oh, and oh my God, I can't believe I forgot this. Sorry. One last low point, and this might be the lowest of the low points, which is why it wasn't on the front of my mind. Adam Warlock, guys, come on, seriously? He's a kid. He's just a dumb kid. That's how he's portrayed. Adam friggin' Warlock is just a dumb kid. This was probably their biggest misstep. Actually, I can almost promise you that no, this was their biggest misstep. And if you are an Adam Warlock fan, or it means anything to you whatsoever, you're probably going to be really angry watching this film. So just keep that in mind going forward before you go see this thing, because it is going to cost you money to watch their film. So something that Disney and Marvel have clearly forgotten in recent years. But all right, that's the end of my gripes. No more gripes. Emotional beats were really well done. The acting was really well done. When the music was done correctly, it hits, it's fun, it's great. It gets you pumped for whatever's going on screen, right? That's the way it's supposed to be. Big battle or whatever. The visuals were good. I had no problems. This was not Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. It needed to be tightened down. The story I enjoyed. It was depressing, to say the least, but it was a really good story. I thought it was fantastic. I thought that everyone did their part and made this film as good as it was probably going to be. And that's a lot coming from me because I didn't have high hopes. I wanted it to be great, because, I mean, just look at my icon, right? And my name, World Mind Reviews, Nova. I'm in the Nova Corps. This is kind of my wheelhouse. Guardians of the Galaxy go hand in hand with all this kind of stuff. So I have high hopes, and I was let down in certain ways. I was let down a lot, quite honestly. This movie could have been so good, so good. But as it was okay. That's my spoiler-free review. I don't really know how to not spoil everything, so I should probably just stop talking at this point and let you guys decide. Those are my thoughts. Those are my feelings. I'm not telling you to go out and spend your money. If you're easily annoyed by this stuff, you probably aren't going to like this film. If you're not looking to be a little bit beaten down over the course of the film because of how depressing it can get at sometimes, you probably aren't going to like this film. But if you are a Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 fan, then chances are you will think that this movie is decent. And if that is something that you are willing to spend your money on, I say go out and do it. If you are on the fence after hearing this, I say wait until it's on Disney Plus. If you have Disney Plus, or you can buy it on whatever. You watch it however you want. But those are my thoughts, guys. Hopefully this helps somebody out there. Either it convinces them to go see the movie and they really enjoy it, or it convinces them not to go see the movie and they don't waste their money. And that is why I do the reviews. Thank you all so much for watching, listening to me ramble on. If you liked the video, please hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. If you didn't like the video, I still appreciate it. You guys give me a lot of good feedback. Sometimes it's constructive, sometimes it is absolutely not constructive, but it gives me a laugh. And that is just as much appreciated as anything else. I will see you in the next one.
Now you're just making it sad.